Today, I want to talk about a core position and a core exercise that, once again, I think is a little bit underutilized because, once again, I think it's a pretty challenging position for most of us. And that's the side plank. So, what I really want to cover is what do we see as the most common flaws with the side plank, and then how do we actually progress it from there? So, number one, the first thing with the side plank that we have to remember, just like any other exercise, honestly, is kind of our core position in general. Okay, so turning sideways, you guys, here, real quick. What we see very typically with our side plank position, so imagine I'm on the floor here, and I'll show you in a second actually on the floor, is if I'm in a side plank, what we'll end up seeing is that extension-based behavior. So that rib cage pops up, that hip drops down, and now I'm in that open position. So if I'm in a side plank and I end up in this open position first, automatically I'm going to be using more of my posterior line, my back line, versus kind of my lateral line, my oblique line that we're looking to get within the side plank. Okay, so that's one common flaw, probably the most common flaw that we see. And then the second common flaw is actually what ends up happening with the shoulder. So a lot of times as we're in that side plank position, we'll end up getting a very passive compression action on the shoulder, meaning that when I'm on the floor is pushing my shoulder joint into the socket itself. We want to actively push that away in order not only to make the shoulder more resilient, but in order to stay active within the position and not rely on passive structures, which then can lead to overuse injuries down the line. Okay, so let's take a look at this super quick here, guys. So if I'm in a side plank position, again, the first thing that I want to do, you can get into this position so I'm nice and stacked up, nice and in line from my shoulders to my hips, my knees to my ankle, okay? And then my head will also be in position here in a second. But the big thing here, I don't care if feet are stacked or that top foot gets in front. Again, the feet stacked we think is a little bit more progression, so it's a little bit harder because there's a little bit more of a rotational demand. So we do like going there if you can get there. But before we even come up into the side plank position, we want to make sure the elbow is right underneath my shoulder. I want to make sure that my rib cage and my hips are connected. So again, I'm not into this open position. I want to make sure hips and rib cage are connected. And then I want to bridge up. When I bridge up, I want to stay nice and straight here, of course. And then here's that active position with the shoulder. So again, if I'm here and being pushed down into that position, no good. I want to actively push that floor away. And that gives me this nice active position with the shoulder. Hip and rib cage are connected. And there's my nice solid side plank. How do we progress this? Okay. If you want a little bit more from the hip perspective, we can go for the lower body movement. So a little bit of a side plank march, maybe a side plank leg lift. Okay, we can do a couple different variations off of that. The whole goal, though, is when I move that top leg, I'm trying not to let that bottom hip sag. Okay, so let's keep that nice and locked. Okay, marching. If we want to go for more of an upper body position, we can do something like side plank horizontal abduction. So all the same positions locked in, and now as I'm going for this horizontal abduction, a little bit of resistance, I'm trying not to let myself rotate out of position. Okay, this could also be kettlebell arm bar. So you have a kettlebell up top, you're rotating around. Could be a band row as you're going here. All variations that we use with our athletes at TAW. All great variations. But again, the big thing there, guys, has to be first, can I get this connected? There's kind of our core principle that I talked about in a previous video. And then can we make sure that we're staying active through the upper body as well? If we can do that in our side plank, you're locking in a whole bunch of good things, which not only help us with just overall core positioning, strength, lower back protection, all that stuff, but when we talk about performance, let's say we're out playing a sport recreationally or competitively, or hey, I'm just kind of messing around in the yard doing whatever, what we see a lot of times is that lateral shifting whenever I have a single leg down, so whether I'm running or something like that, the side plank actions help us bring that back into more alignment. So now once again there, I'm becoming less injury prone in my low back, my hip, my knees, because I've worked that lateral position. Okay, so we love the side plank. We use it a ton. We progress it a ton as well for those reasons. So keep those in mind. And if you're doing a side plank, you're like, man, I just really can't hold that side plank by itself, you can actually elevate that side plank off the floor just a little bit, right? So if you get a bench or a box, put your elbow on top of that, and now I'm off the floor, it takes a little bit of gravitational load away. It makes it a little bit easier for you to execute properly, and then you can move yourself down towards the floor. Again, something else that we do for our athletes at TAW within their programming. Okay, so again, keep that on top of the mind, guys. Keep on moving well, training hard, living athletic. I'll be back with another video soon.